Hello, I'm Claire from Created the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. Thank you for joining me today. I have got a lovely little box for you today. Let me show you it and then you can get as excited as me. It is, well, I've called it a star gift box because there's quite a few different variations around. It just all pulls in tight like that. I've deliberately not tied this one so you can see how much room there is inside. You can get a couple of different versions, or yeah, versions I suppose you would call it. This one has got points on it, just where I've scored and marked it. If you tie the ribbon the other way, it will, let me see if I can do it. You will end up with the ribbon coming on the outside instead, and it comes out like that, so it's a bit like a star. Let's see if I can fold it all the right way, so those bits come out rather than in, and when you pull it tight it all comes together like that instead. So that gives you another variation of the same box. Also, if you score on a curve rather than a straight line, so what do I mean by that? Instead of just doing a straight line, if you use something that's got a bit of shape to it, like a bowl or a plate, and score around that instead, you get a really different shape. What I mean by that is, instead of it being pointed, it curves around, so when that goes together you've got more of a shape on it, like that oval shape. So if I push this in how it was, so they're very definitely triangles, so it's navy blue, so it's going to be tricky for you to see, but you can see that they are very definitely triangles that you've made there from doing a straight line. But if you use a bowl or a plate to score around, you end up with that really lovely shape. So there's a few different variations that you can do on it. I've seen them taller, smaller, fatter, thinner. I just wanted a fairly easy one that you could do without too much stress. So I've kept it really, really simple, and I will show you how to make it. Let's craft. What do I need to do? I need to give you the sizes. So the sizes that we are going to be using, you need an A4 sheet of card. I'm a demonstrator in the UK, so my sizing is UK sizes. It's 29.8 centimetres. These are centimetre measurements just to help you all. By 15 centimetres, and then there's quite a bit of scoring, so I'm going to move my hands out the way and you can screenshot that, and then I will explain it as we go along. I try and not waffle too much. I try and give you a few tips and tricks along the way to help you fall in love with your project rather than getting stressed with it. So there's the sizes. Ta-da! Put that out the way, and then what do I need to tell you? The products that I'm using are from Stampin' Up. I'm using Lost Lagoon card, which is this really beautiful colour, and then I'm going to also use some of the snowflake paper, which I feel is lost on the video a bit because it's very sparkly and shiny. It's only one-sided, so we don't have to stress over which side we want to use, but we're going to use some of that as well. And of course, my trusty paper trimmer. Oh, what's just fallen up? Cutting blade. Let's just slide that back in. Okay, because we're going to be doing lots of cutting and scoring. Some glue, and that's about it really. I don't think we need anything else. So the first thing we need to do is get the card the right size. So we need it to be 15 centimetres, so the shorter end at the top, and I am just going to cut that off at 15 centimetres. Okay, make sure I am cutting. So you end up with that, which is perfect to make a tag with, Christmas tag for your box. Then we're going to turn it sideways, and it needs to be 29.8. So, which should be the size of an A4, but we are just going to double check that that's what we've got, 29.8. Ta-da! Lovely. So we are going to turn it back so that the smaller side is where your measuring line is, and we are going to score at 5 centimetres. Now be very careful and get that cutting blade out of the way. 5 centimetres and 10 centimetres. So you should have 2 panels, 2 score lines going down, which gives you 3 panels. Can you see that? Like that. Then we're going to turn it round to the long side, and we're going to do quite a lot of scoring along. So I'll go slowly. We want 4.8 centimetres. So again, make sure that cutting blade is out the way. 4.8, 9.6. You're effectively making squares. 9.6, 14.4, 19.2. So this is all centimetres. 19.2, 24 centimetres, and 28.8. So 28.8. And that leaves you with just a thin, you should have 6 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then this very thin piece here. Okay, so we're going to move that paper trimmer out of the way. And let's get this ready. So you need some scissors. This is like a tab. So we're going to take one piece of it off. We're going to take the bottom piece off. So I'm just going to angle that like that, which is just past the score line, and cut up, and then I'll lay it down so that you can see what I've actually cut off. So I've not only cut the bottom rectangle off, but I've cut it off at an angle above, so that gives me a really nice tab. Okay, I'm also going to cut just a little bit off of the top bit there, just real fraction off there, so that's got a bit of an angle as well, and that's the cutting of that done. Now all of these bottom pieces we are going to turn into tabs, so we're just going to cut up each score line to the first score. So we're just cutting up to there and there. So how are you getting on with your Christmas makes? I want to say I'm doing really well, but I don't actually think I am. I just keep getting carried away with new ideas. I've got a pile of projects to finish, and I'm not really sure they're going to get done, but maybe. Do you know what? It doesn't matter, does it? 6 tabs, okay, just like that. We need to do some more marking along the top, so we'll do that next. Let's just burnish all the lines. I think that would be a good thing to do next. So let's do that. I'm just folding over where all the score lines are, just so that my paper has a good idea what I'm expecting it to do in a minute. So we're just going to fold those over and keep going all the way round to there. So you can see already the sort of shape it's going to be. And I'm going to do the extra score lines along the top. So you are going to need something to mark and something to score. So what do I use? There's a couple of things that I use. I use this embossing tool. It's got different heads on it. One really small embossing head and one wider one. I'll probably use the smaller one on this one. I either use an old block that's got a very straight edge, and it is a really old block, it's covered in all sorts even though it's been cleaned lots, or a ruler, or I use my paper trimmer because it's got a scorer on it. So to make the marks initially, I'm going to use my paper trimmer just because I find that easier. So in each of these squares we need to mark halfway. So I'll give you the sizes as we go. So the first one we're going to do is 2.4 centimetres. And what you're doing is making a little mark where your cutting line is. So wherever that cutting line is where you're going to make a mark. So I've just done a little mark there at 2.4. And I'm going to go along to the next square, and the middle of that is 7.2. So 1, 2, just put a little line there. The next one is 12 centimetres. The next one is 16.8. So you need to open out the arm on your paper trimmer. 16.8 is there. 21.6. It will be worth it, I promise. You'll love this box when you've made it. 21.6. 26.4 is the last one. 26.4. Okay, so you should, in the middle of each square along the top, there should be a little score line. Leave that out. And then I'm gonna do this straight, so with the straight edge. So I'm going to use my block. You could use your ruler, that would work just as well. And you're going to go from, I'll turn it sideways so you can see, you're going to go from this point up to here and back down to make a triangle on each of those squares. So I'm just going to turn it sideways so that I can see, because the light is reflecting off my ruler. So I put my embossing tool on the point, just on the point there, and then my ruler to there, and I just score. And I find it easier to go all along one way first, one side of this triangle here. So if you've watched my videos before, you will have seen that we do something similar on some of the Christmas decorations, and they come out so lovely. It's really exciting how they come together. So go and have a look at those if you're finding this okay to follow along to. So we've done one side, now we're going to go the other side. So we're going from the point there to the top of the triangle again. Okay, so I'm using a ruler, but I could use this block as long as it's a straight edge, something that's manageable for your hands. When I tried to do this with the paper trimmer, it just involves too much manoeuvring of the paper, so that's why I'm using this, a ruler or an old block. Okay, and that goes there, and there actually you can see a triangle on each one. So while we've got that, what we're going to do is just help the paper, a bit like we did with these, we're going to burnish. We're going to help the paper know where you want it to bend. So we're just going along the diagonal, okay? Just like that on each side. Now, if it's easier, lay it down, put your block along, and just from the underneath, go along the side, just behind what you're doing. It's whatever is easier for you. There's no rules, you do it your way. You're just helping the paper know where you want it to fold in a moment. So I've gone all along one way, now I'm going to go back the other way, the other side of the triangle. It just will help you in a minute when you're pulling your shape all together, because the paper will already know where it needs to fold. Okay, and just the last one there, I've just had a thought that I've left the ribbon in the other room. Never mind, we'll figure that out in a minute. So we've done our shapes, we've got our panels all done. How about if we decorate the middle bit now so it's all done? So the paper, you need 6 squares that are 4.4 centimetres. So I've already cut mine and I know that they fit. That looks quite small actually, 4.4. And that one doesn't. This one must be the wrong size. Okay, not that one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and one wrong size. So let me cut one of those. So I need 4.4, 4.4. Oh, turn it over so I can do that. 4.4. So that gives me my square. And then because it is going on coloured card, what I tend to do is use a Stampin' Up marker to just go along the edge and get rid of the white core so that it really doesn't stand out on my make, because otherwise it will give you quite a harsh white edge, which is fine. But if you can do something about it, it's a good idea too. So they're going to go along the middle and be extra sparkly. So let's fit those on. And then we're nearly ready to put it all together. Okay. There's one. Luckily it's any way up paper, which means you can put it any way round. And it's really, really sparkly. So hopefully you're getting a little bit of that reflection. What could you fit in your box? It's quite a decent size. You could put maybe even a couple of pair of socks, a nice scarf for somebody, something you've made. It is quite roomy. Let me show you in a minute. I just finished doing these panels. You can fit a little or a lot in there. You can let the box be the star of the show and the gift inside the second thing, because of course they can reuse the box for something else. You could use it to store your craft bits in, or a little secret present, all sorts of things. Let me know what you use yours for, because it's good to share ideas. Okay, I think that's it. So if I bring that back in for a minute, so that's how big it is. You can get loads in there. Tombow glue, would that fit in there? Yeah, you'd actually get probably 5 or 6 Tombow glues in there. That's how big the box is. So really, really handy. Okay, so we've got our panels on. We've cut our pieces up. Now, if you want to pull it tight together, you're going to need some holes. So the holes need to be in these bits here. Now the easiest way I've found to do that is by using a really old tool that I've got. You can still get it, not so old, but I've had mine years and years and years. So what I do is fold it over, and where that triangle piece is there, doing it backwards now, let's do it. Let me just do it and I'll show you. So I'm just doing it by eye, which means I'm not measuring. So what happens is I've punched a hole through one, but when I open it up, it's those 2 triangles have got the hole. So I'm going to go along again and do it in the next one, and so on until all of my sides have got a hole. So those 2 are done. And these ones. Two more, I think. Stampin' Up used to do a little hole punch. If you've got one of those, use those. Or you could use a regular hole punch, you know, that you use for your stationery. You could use that. You'll be able to get the card through that. Okay, so we've done 5 and it leaves this one and this one at the end. So what we're going to do is put our box together. So remember that tab we made, this little tab here. We're going to put some glue on our tab because we want our box to stick together really nicely. And notice that I've just folded that over because it's easier to get it to meet. Just going to put a bit of glue at the top there because I know sometimes that gets missed. Okay, so if you bring that over to there, that should fit exactly. Okay, so it's nice and flat. You can press down on that, put a bit of pressure on to make sure it's glued, and then just move it round one and round again so that you know that it is properly fitting and that your box has got a lovely shape. You end up with that. Now before we do anything else, we've got to do that last hole for the top for your ribbon. Okay, so all of the triangles have got a hole in. Let's stick the bottom now. So what I tend to do is bend those back so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so bend them all back and then pick 2 that are opposite each other. And I'm going to put some glue on that edge there and some glue on that edge there. Okay, and that's it. And they're going to come over, and how I know that they are in the right place is because they are in line. Okay, just like that. And just give it a moment to glue, not too long, because you want to try and have it so you can still shape your box. So I go to the next 2, put some on there. I also put a bit on there. That's come undone already. Let's just press that down a minute. That one comes there. Put some on there as well. And just make sure that that's in line. Okay, like so. And then this one is the last one, so put a bit of blob of glue there to help it stick in place. That there, some on that edge there. Bring that over so it's in line. Okay, and when I'm happy that it's stuck enough that I can move it, a little bit more time. Bring that over and just press all of those in place. Okay, and then that's the bottom of your box done. Now if you're not happy that it's in line or you're not happy with how it looks, you can cover that with a circle. Just die cut or punch a circle and cover that in. I might actually do the snowflake paper just so it finishes the box off. But that's your box done. Look at that. Okay, and now you just need to decide which way round you want it to fold. Do you want it to fold so that you've got your triangles really standing out like that? So fold all of those bits in like so. So the triangle you scored stays up and the other bit folds inwards like that. One more, 2 more, 2 more. Okay, so that will go like that. Ta-da! Or you could have them pointing out like so. Let's see if we can do this. Point out, this one point out. like so. Okay, and it really is your choice, but all you would do is thread your string or your ribbon. If you want the points to be like this, you need to put it in from the inside. If you want it for the outside, you can just go around the outside like that and do it. But that is our box made. What else do I need to tell you? I think that is it. So that one, if I tie that one now, so you can see that one. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you give it a go, I would love to see your make. Please do share a photo with me. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, or you could just email me at createdtheottaway@gmail.com. I've received quite a few different photos and it is so inspiring. I love to see them. That string is not very good to do a bow. Look at that feeble bow that is. But that's that way, and then this one's going to be that way. Ta-da! Thank you for watching. I think that's it. I will see you very soon. Bye.